I'm standing in front of a lake right now, and I want to talk about love. Love is not effortless, but it's not constant strife either. It's a co-creation. You work together as a team, on the same team, and there is a deep level of presence and acknowledgement and heart that goes into discussions, problem solving, handling conflicts in a way that is not defensive, in a way that is curious. And again, I want to emphasize presence. If you are speaking with someone who is fully present there with you, there's no sarcasm, there's no toxic sort of defensiveness or a front being put up, or them trying to outsmart you or put themselves on a pedestal above you and like, oh, you're being so emotional about this. No. That presence is there. It is true. There are no walls. There's no BS. You can approach life in a way that is balanced and both practical and playful. You get to decide for yourselves what kind of life you want to build, what kind of life you want to live, and then what sorts of habits and behaviors will create that for you. There is also an alignment of values when it comes to love too. Somebody who pushes you just enough. I'm seeing so many orange butterflies around me right now. Orange is the color of the sacral chakra, and it is the color of creativity and sensuality and sexuality. Creation essence. When you come into union with someone, you will feel that desire to create with them, whatever that looks like for you, okay? And the wind is really winding today. So what was I saying about love, about collaboration, co-creation? So yes, it is a perfect balance. I shouldn't say perfect, sorry. A balance between pushing you towards growth while also having compassion and making sure that that sense of alignment is there, because you don't want to be someone you're not. You don't want to mold yourself into someone that you are not for the sake of somebody else. That's not love. If you guys can come together with your differences and see where that line is between collaboration and discord, that is everything, in my opinion, because life comes with ups and downs. It comes with the storms and the rainbows, the peaks and the valleys, and what matters is your ability to navigate through that together. If you can stay by each other's sides, be consistent and be loving and warm and grounded with discernment, while not abandoning yourself in the process. Oh, just touch the tree above here. High five, tree, because that is good. That is love. That's very high frequency that you're operating from. Very healthy. And I want to talk more about the consistency aspect. Express your needs and your inner union, the union of your inner energies, your inner divine masculine and your inner divine feminine, because no matter what incarnate form you're in, we have both of those energies within us. And so it's not only about the external union, it's about your own internal union too, because that's what allows you to approach external union with that stability and that truth and that embodiment of authenticity, vulnerability, and responsibility for yourself. And so, do you allow your triggers to run your life? Do you allow your wounds to project ideas or expectations or like previous patterns onto somebody, or maybe that comes out in your actions or the way that you behave? It's very important to be very self-aware of those processes and heal them in whatever way feels right for you. But love isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and transparency. So if you can approach your partner in safety and love and say, hey, there's this thing that I found myself doing, or there's this thing that I've done in previous relationships and I'm still working on it. I've seen it show up in our relationship in XYZ ways, and I just wanted to talk to you about it, to kind of have a heart to heart, kind of what you think, but not even what you think, just like having that open dialogue. Because what you resist persists. And so as long as you have openness, as long as you have honesty, and you feel like you can have that open, direct line of communication with your partner, that's huge. That is everything. That is love. Because if you're with somebody who is reactive, or they take feedback as an attack, or they see you opening up as very uncomfortable because they cannot open up within their own selves with their own selves, then that's not a love situation. That's more of a lesson situation, in my opinion. That's where that inner union comes in, because it's about finding somebody who is in alignment with not only your values, but also your inner state. You will attract somebody who reflects what your subconscious, unconscious layers are. And again, that's where that awareness and self-love and self-responsibility and inner unions come into play. You will reach a point where the lessons will get easier and you will meet your match, somebody who is truly your match, and that is love. Somebody who can do all the things that I described above with you. They are never against you. They are not pushing you because of their own discomfort or their own need for, I don't know, validation, or some type of like sense of like proving to themselves or society of a certain thing. Like, there is no rush. There's no hot and cold. There's only consistency and certainty and openness, grounded discernment, warmth, and trust and communication. It does take time to earn trust and to have somebody else earn your trust, okay? And so that's where that groundedness comes into play, of that there is no rush, there is no, like, when it's love, you're going to take it at a pace that feels good, basically. You're not going to rush. There's not going to be any kind of pressure or weirdness or any sense of force or resistance from any side, either side. Because getting to know somebody takes time, and you're allowed to be excited. Just don't abandon yourself in the process, and don't, I guess, trauma bond or dump, or because I will admit, I used to be somebody who would lay a bunch of stuff out on the table very early on, because I wanted to make sure that I could very quickly move on as fast as possible, because it was just from a place of fear within me of, oh, I'm not going to be safe, I'm not going to be okay, I'm going to be alone forever if I don't kind of like freaking blaze through people as much as possible. Like, that sounds really kind of strange, but it was my approach to, and I've heard other people talk about this too, that's the thing. And so it comes from a survival skill, and it comes from fear of, well, I need to make sure that this is in alignment, instead of trusting my body, trusting the timing, and trusting what's in front of me. Because that's another thing. When there's a lack of presence, when there is unstable inner divine union within you, that's when it could be easier to kind of fall into illusion or fantasy or projections put onto the other person. Again, I have direct experience with this, so I can talk about it confidently at this point with what I've learned. And it ultimately came from a place of fear and a lack of self-trust, because again, I needed to make sure I was safe. I needed to make sure that, this was worth my time and like blah blah blah, which like, yeah, it's good to make sure something's worth your time, but it's like it will reveal itself to you naturally. Your body will tell you. If you feel drained or exhilarated or like intensity very early on that's very, very high, that is typically a sign of chemistry and not necessarily compatibility. Okay? And it's okay to have your heart rush in the presence of your love. It's just what is surrounding that? Is it your nervous system trying to warn you against something? Or is it a pattern that's repeating or a cycle that's repeating? Use other behaviors as context to support what might be going on. So like if there is kind of like a push and pull, if you feel like sometimes it's pulling teeth to get any sort of initiative out of them, or it's hard to talk to them in a way that feels honest, they just seem like they're putting up a front, or it's hard to like have a heart to heart, or how do they act when you're out in public too? It's like, how are they, and then how are you? Actions speak louder than words. Something that I've realized recently is like, wow, the way that somebody acts with me and also with other people is very telling of what values, core values we have in alignment and what we do not when it comes to respect and love of the planet and other people, and how I want to be and how I am, how I show up in the world. So yeah, you should never feel anxious in the sense of like, oh well, I need to do something, I need to like or again, pulling teeth for, I don't know, just like breadcrumbs of attention or initiative from somebody. You never have to overextend yourself when it comes to love. You never have to overanalyze anything. Nothing is ever confusing. Again, I want to emphasize consistency. And for me, also, I also like to use the word certainty. If somebody's like wishy-washy, like, I don't really, this is what I see in my life, and then they tell you and you're like not even in their vision. Like, because that's something that, you know, you're talking about when you're dating, right? It's like, well, what's your vision? Like, what are your goals? What lights you up, you know? Life, soul essence stuff. And if they're talking to you, you know, I had a recent experience where it was like very kind of short term. I was not included in any of the anything pretty much. And that was very clear to me. I was like, it's time, you know, and that comes from presence and having open conversations and allowing your body to tell you, because obviously when I heard that, I felt horrible on the inside. So it's like, your body will tell you, you can trust yourself. So yes, I hope this wasn't too chaotic of a video. I don't think it was. I'm outpouring, my heart is outpouring to you and into this video of some of the things that I've really integrated that I've learned recently. And what's kind of been downstepping for the past couple of years and the past couple of relationships I've had, honestly, now that I think about it. Just have fun. Have faith and courage. Be the divine essence that you are. This is like a channeled message now. I did not expect this. Have faith and courage and be kind. That's been something that's been coming through a lot, actually, in my videos. Sometimes you need to hear and receive things repeatedly for it to get in your body and stick. So there's a sense of undeniable stability. And like, you don't ever have to wonder where their mind is at, whether or not they'll show up for you. Love is consistency and certainty and openness and honesty. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And I do offer personal sessions, group sessions, and courses are in the works, but all of that information will be down below in the description. Wishing you a blessed rest of your day, night, week, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next one.